is the Onion News Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to School Sucks Live. Today, September 20th, 2012, I'm Brett. In the studio with me tonight, Osborne.
Howdy.
And Cory.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Doing well, sir.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
That's awesome. So, last few weeks on the show, I feel like we've had very serious, very agenda-driven shows, you know?
I think so. We've had some serious agenda-driven callers as well.
Which is fine.
Which is great. It fosters a discussion.
That reminds me, open phones all night. Like usually, last couple of weeks we've had some guests. So we had Larkin Rose, and then we had Derek J. and Michelle last week, and we've been chipping away at our logical fallacy series. But because of that, that means we weren't taking as many calls as we could have because we were trying to get through this content that I wanted to deliver. But tonight, open phones all night. Give us a call, 843-JOIN-SSP, or Skype in, School Sucks Live. Either way, we'll take your call. But we'll give you a topic first, too. We are going to be talking about psychopathy. Ding, 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 ding. You're doing, let's put a camera on you. You're doing some psycho moves and music, right? Knifing.
The strings.
Well, these are the things we picture, right?
I was doing the one from the Vince Vaughn shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah.
Not the original.
Good to do a shot-for-shot remake with the same script.
Right.
And a worst cast. Oh, man. Speaking.
Okay.
Well, as you can tell, we're going to do a little bit more of a relaxed and conversational show tonight. And we're actually going to be discussing a movie. It's called I Am Fishead.
Right.
And it is about, how many people out there are actually psychopaths.
Right.
And what can be done about it. So I want to be able to give you a description of the film. We just had a computer crash before we started, so I'm restarting. I'm in the process of restarting everything. But did you guys, we all watched the film. It's a documentary, about 70 minutes. You can find it on YouTube.
Yep.
I had kind of like a mixed feelings about it. You know, it was hit or miss. Like in some parts, I felt like it really, really hit. And then on some things, or maybe it was just like a sentence here and a sentence there, I felt like there was some pretty significant misses too.
Yeah, I felt it was fairly hit or miss as well. And they made some really excellent points, and then they belabored some other points that were not quite as excellent.
Oftentimes when you're trying to navigate your way through ivory tower academic type things, you have to kind of filter out the blatant communism that's underlying everyone's worldview.
That is true.
Yeah. Now, I think that they always want to make this dichotomy in these types of films between like responsible governing and business.
Right.
And I think that was fun. Another one that I thought, because this film talks a lot about empathy, because psychopaths don't have that. But there's another false dichotomy between having no empathy, so I can have no empathy, or I give up comfort and aspiration, which I think is totally not true at all. Like you could definitely have both.
Oh, absolutely. And I think a lot of people do.
Sure. The non-psychopathic. But the film makes a very interesting claim, very bold, that the world is run by psychopaths. Now, if you say this to somebody,
right?
I think our government is run by psychopaths. I think a lot of corporations are run by psychopaths. Well, people have this picture in their head, don't they, of what a psychopath is. You kind of previewed that a couple minutes ago with the Psycho.
Yeah, a psychopath is a guy on the other side of your shower curtain with a knife.
That movie is called Psycho.
Exactly.
Yeah. From Psychopath, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, or psychotic or something.
Sure.
Something.
Okay.
Or every TV police drama is pretty much the plot revolves around some psychopath who's out killing people.
Sure. So we have a man stabbing a lady through a shower in a hotel. We have a man cutting through a bathroom door with an axe. We have a man throwing a chainsaw down a stairwell at a
fleeing hooker. Right.
We have this imagery of what it means to be psychopathic.
Right.
But as we learn from this documentary, and we can learn this other places as well, there's a lot of good research and scholarship on this subject lately, including a book by Michael Cross called Hunting the Psychopath. Mm-hmm. And even though it focuses more on the corporate world,
Snakes in Suits.
Snakes in Suits, and I know one of the authors' names is Hare, Hare, and he also generated a list, like a checklist of these are the characteristics of a psychopath. So we'll get into that a little bit tonight. But the first thing I wanted to do is just read an about on this movie that we watched. And we're going to talk about the movie, but it's really just a jumping off point for a broader conversation. And like I said, open phones all night. So if you have thoughts or knowledge in this area, please give us a call at 843-JOIN-SSP or Skype in School Sucks Live. By the way, film narrated by Peter Coyote, who's great, but he sounds a lot like Leonard Peikoff from the Ayn Rand Institute, who I don't care for.
Haven't seen much of Peter Coyote lately. In fact, I'm trying to remember what I saw him in besides E.T.
I didn't know that he was somebody that we should know.
He was in E.T.
Who was he in E.T.?
He was the government scientist that came to the house.
That's true.
And was like, I've been waiting for this my whole life. You're so lucky, Elliot.
Yeah. And I saw E.T. on television, just like some clips of it.
Yeah.
I bet that's... last time I saw that movie, I was like 9.
It's coming out on Blu-ray next week.
I bet that's a phenomenal movie to see as an adult.
It's a fantastic movie. It's still a good movie.
I got to re-see it.
It's a little on the nose with the sentiment, but on the other hand, it's very effective in delivering, its whole thing. It's a good movie. It's an excellent movie. Spielberg, wonderful. Anyway, digression.
We're talking about a documentary called I Am Fishead, and the tagline for the movie is How Psychopaths and Antidepressants Influence Our Society, a provocative snapshot of the world we live in. So we're going to talk more about the whole antidepressants thing in a little bit of detail, but here is the description of the film. It is a well-known fact that our society is structured like a pyramid, like I've been saying on this show, folks, for a while. The very few people at the top create the conditions for the majority below. Who are these people? Can we blame them for the problems our society faces today? Guided by the saying, a fish rots from the head, old Chinese proverb, we set out to follow that fishy odor. What we found is that people at the top are more likely to be psychopaths than the rest of us. Who or what is a psychopath? Unlike Hollywood's stereotypical image, they're not always bloodthirsty monsters from slasher movies. Actually, the nice lady who chatted you up on the subway this morning could be one. So could your elementary school teacher, your grinning boss, or even your loving boyfriend. The medical definition is simple. A psychopath is a person who lacks empathy and conscience, the quality which guides us when we choose between good and evil, moral or not. Most of us are conditioned to do good things. Conditioned to do good things. I don't know if I agree with that wording, but psychopaths are not. Their impact on society is staggering, yet altogether psychopaths barely make up 1% of the population. It's a lot higher than you would think, though. 1%.
Yeah, because I definitely know more than 100 people, which means I know more than one psychopath.
Yeah.
On average.
You think you know any psychopaths, Osborne?
Yes, I can think of 2.
Yeah, I can think of a couple off the top of my head who I'm fairly certain are actual psychopaths.
Interesting. Broken into 3 parts, our search for the Fishhead starts in New York City, on Wall Street, where a big chunk of world power is concentrated. The small plot of city land is where economic crisis erupted, and what we found there has far-reaching consequences both for the psychopaths and us normal folk. The second part of the film touches on how, for a small number of people, overuse of antidepressants can result in behaviors that appear to mimic some psychopathic features. Although the overuse of these medications will not produce psychopathy, they may stifle emotion and decrease the user's ability to feel empathy. They also may have the opposite effect, normalizing emotional experience and empathy. More than 1/3 of the Western population uses and, in some cases, abuses these drugs. But why? So why do we want to take a pill that flattens or normalizes our normal feelings? We think something sure smells fishy again. It is not too far-fetched to say that for the first time in history, we not only praise psychopaths in the highest positions of power, but in many cases, they become our role models. There's more to read. We'll pick that up when we get back. This is School Sucks Live. We would love to hear from you tonight, so consider giving us a call. We'll be right back.